In a world where the unseen shapes our oceans and sustains life on Earth, some organisms are so small yet so powerful that we can see them from space. Welcome to this special edition of SSAI's podcast, where science meets the stars. Today, we journey into the microscopic world of phytoplankton to discover how these tiny organisms fuel ecosystems and influence the health of our planet. Meet Carina Poulin, a scientific designer with SSAI at NASA's Ocean Ecology Laboratory at Goddard Space Flight Center. She transforms complex ocean data into compelling visuals that not only help scientists better understand the oceans, but also inspire the world to take action. So how do we turn something as tiny as phytoplankton into a story everyone can connect with? Let's find out. The very first question I wanted to ask you was, can you please tell the audience about yourself and describe some of the projects you are working on at SSAI?
Yeah, so I've been working at SSAI for the Ocean Ecology Lab at NASA for a little over 2.5 years now. My job title is scientific designer, which is a little bit unique or strange maybe, but it basically means that I use both science and art to do my work. So I make scientific visualizations, I process satellite imagery to represent this mission that we work on. PACE mostly gives for the world in terms of sciences. I work on trainings and tutorials. I design swag. So it's very diversified in terms of tasks. So it's a pretty fun job, I have to say.
I have to say that's definitely cool that you are designing some great content, and I'm so glad that you mentioned the PACE mission as well. So our SSAI employees have contributed a lot to the PACE mission. So, for our audience and viewers who are curious and would like to learn a little bit more about PACE, we definitely encourage you to check out our YouTube channel. So that way you'll be able to see additional company highlight videos that we've done. So please definitely click on the link in the YouTube description of this video for you to check out more about PACE. But we will certainly dive deeper into the conversation with PACE today as well. So Carina, I really appreciate you highlighting a little bit about your experience. Carina, my next question I wanted to ask you was, you mentioned your role as a scientific designer with SSAI at NASA's Ocean Ecology Laboratory. And there, you turn complex data about tiny yet vital organisms like phytoplankton into visuals that help people understand their role in Earth's oceans. How do you approach translating this microscopic world into compelling stories that inspire both scientists and the public?
Yeah, it can be surprising to hear that those microscopic organisms are visible from space, but yeah, there's so many of them in the ocean that they change the color of the water, and that's why the science of ocean remote sensing is often called ocean color. So we're looking at those different colors because there's different types of plankton and they have different roles in the ecosystem that are very important. Some of them will feed fish and are very important for fisheries. It will indicate where the fish will be because they eat there. Or there will be toxic phytoplankton too that are dangerous and we do not want to fish where they are. That's why there's a lot of interest in looking at them from space and making maps of where the different types are. And that's why PACE is very exciting because it's the first mission that allows us to see the different types of plankton from space and not just if there's a lot of plankton or just a little bit. It tells us the different kinds. So my job, I work on showing those different types. Like the map that I have behind me here is a map from PACE that shows in the ocean the different colors that are there, are colors that I add from the pace measurements. So I will color the data from pace with different colors to represent 3 different types of plankton that we have here. So that's an example of how I would do that. And I make some scientific visualizations, and I try to make it as compelling as possible to send the messages that we're trying to send, to simplify often the figures, because often as scientists, we love to put everything we can on a map, put all the grid lines, put not too much numbers that are not what is interesting to see. So my job is to make sure we focus on what's important, and that it's compelling and that it communicates well.
Absolutely, Carina. Well, you brought up some excellent points. I love your background. Just as a side note, I appreciate you pointing to our audience and viewers in terms of, specifically where it comes from in relation to the PACE mission and, the different types of phytoplankton that we have. I remember taking a graduate school course, and there are so many different types of phytoplankton. And I don't know, just as a side note, do you know, like, how many different types of phytoplankton exist? I can't seem to remember.
Yeah, there's thousands. I don't think we know the exact number. There's some new ones that are discovered every day. Even some people from every day, maybe that's an exaggeration, but often. But we even have people on our team on a cruise related to PACE that have discovered a new type of plankton. So yeah, there's a lot of different species. Yeah, too many to count them.
Well, absolutely. Well, and it's definitely very exciting when we discover, a new species of, phytoplankton. And I liked how you mentioned, the good ones and, the not so good ones as well. Each and every single one of them are different, but, they are unique. And definitely with the PACE mission, we're helping to gather that data as well, which is super cool. And it's very exciting. So, Carina, I definitely appreciate you highlighting how you're able to make some of our scientific visualizations in a nice, compelling way. Carina, my next question I wanted to ask you was, your work at SSAI helps bring critical environmental data to life, like you just mentioned. Can you share how SSAI's technical capabilities support NASA's missions and how this work can make a tangible difference, like alerting the public to ocean changes, informing decision makers, or even ultimately helping save lives?
Well, yeah, SSAI has a lot of people on the PACE team, as you have mentioned before. So a lot of the technical expertise from SSAI really allow the mission to exist and for the science to be done. So there's a lot of the technical aspects of just building the satellite and creating it and then sending it up in space and maintaining it there on its orbit and making sure the data is validated and calibrated. So there's people who even go on in boats, as I think you have talked to some of them on the previous podcast. So the role that SSAI people play in the mission like PACE is really big, I think, very important. And what I do specifically, I think it's a very specific type of technical challenge to have both the science and the visualization together, and that's what brought me here. And I think that has an important role to, for example, create visuals that will help our program managers share the importance of the missions to stakeholders, for example. You can imagine those stakeholders that will do funding or important projects. They are very solicited and they're very tired and they don't want to see just a slide full of text that they have to decipher. if they can just see something very clearly, you can imagine it has more of an impact, or we can hope it does. So that's what I think is one important part of my role, I think. And so I try to make images that showed that importance, and not just with satellite imagery, but also some concepts of, for example, all the products that PACE does, some graphs for the scientific visualizations, just that show the difference that PACE makes in the science. Also, I make social media images, so that helps to illustrate the importance of the mission for everyone, not just the stakeholders, but yeah, all the public needs to learn more about PACE, I think, because it is an important mission. Just to remind people, it looks at clouds, the ocean, the aerosols, and land all together. So it's very exciting way to look at Earth, and with all the hyperspectral capabilities that we have now. So that means that we have all the colors of the rainbow. That's part of my job to share that a lot with the people. So a lot of the things that I work on will have rainbows. So remind people that PACE looks at all the colors. So yeah, that's how I think this technical job is important.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Carina, I was going to say, I loved how you showcased the rainbow. You know, that's on your shirt there. That's an excellent point in terms of, you know, making this content, you know, widely available to a big audience. And, you know, I know one of the big things is everybody learns differently. Everybody learns in different ways and at different rates. So that's great to hear that in terms of the graphics that you have designed, you've been able to get this in front of program managers, and then it's going out into the stakeholders, which is absolutely fantastic. And just as a side note, I was curious, as you said that you have designed some social media graphics as well. Do you have like any special tools that you use for that?
So I will always start with satellite data processing software, the same as scientists use. But then usually I do another step that scientists do not do, is I will go into image processing software that is very specialized in that field to make the image appear better with the contrast and usual photography processing skills. And that's the kind of things that I will do specifically for those social media images.
Oh, very nice. I was just curious. I know there's a lot of different tools out there. So again, you know, for our audience and viewers who are currently listening, we hope that you all have at least gotten an opportunity to check out and, you know, follow us on social media as well. So that way you can see these great images with PACE that, for example, Carina has worked on. So please definitely, like I said, click below and make sure that you subscribe to our channel and also each of our social media platforms. So that way you're able to engage with us, and also stay tuned for additional insights on PACE. So Carina, that's absolutely fantastic. I really appreciate you diving deeper into that and highlighting SSAI's technical capabilities. Carina, my final question I wanted to ask you was, and this is a fun question, just as a side note, but the question is, in honor of International Microorganism Day, if phytoplankton had their own social media account, what kind of posts or visuals do you think they'd share to show off just how important they are to life on Earth?
That's a great question. So phytoplankton has a lot to brag about. So I think they would be pretty braggy on social media. So they would probably show off their location and their travels with the different currents with Strava. Maybe you can see the spirals in the eddies, like we can see here with their travels. So that would be one. They would also probably show off with all their different friends that have all these beautiful shapes. So they would show that they're not just with their own type. They have a wide array of friends that they hang out with in the ocean, and also that they are doing a really good job at feeding the food chain. So they would probably show that of how important they are, because they feed the zooplankton that in turn feed the fish, and then the fish feed us, or the shark. Or they would probably talk about that a lot. And also, they would probably go on about their toxic traits, because some of them do have toxic traits, and actual pretty bad ones. But so they would say that sometimes some type of plankton produce toxins that kill fish and even people. So that's their toxic trait. That's a serious one in their case.
Yeah. Absolutely, Carina. Well, like I said, I really appreciate you highlighting your thoughts and your insights in terms of that fun question. Like you said, there's many different types of phytoplankton out there, and I love how you emphasized again, that some do good things, some do, not so good things, and, how we have to be careful with some of them. But overall, I think it'd be very cool if, let's say just as an imaginary thing, if they took over, our social media or something like that, that'd be interesting to see what they would say or, come up with. So that's very, very fun to think about. So, Carina, like I said, I really appreciate you highlighting that there. And Carina, with that, again, I just wanted to thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule again to talk with me today. You are truly a rock star who is really making an impact and a difference globally, and everybody around the world is going to continue to be fascinated by the great work that you and your team are doing with the PACE mission. Please definitely keep us informed in terms of some continued insights that come with the PACE mission, some continued advancements, and we are very, very excited and can't wait to highlight it.
Thank you so much, Jason, and thank you so much for the work you do with that podcast too. It's really great to have that. I appreciate it.